Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Erleen Tilton, and I welcome you to this webinar tonight. Is an inflamed gut causing you discomfort? And as I work with people over the years, I have found that one of the number one issues that people tell me that they are dealing with is gut issues. And this is where I have learned to understand that really a healthy gut is a healthy you. It all starts in the gut. And so I think that you will learn a lot from what I share with you tonight. And hopefully this will help you in knowing how to move forward in actually creating a happy, healthy gut. It was decades ago that Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. So this is why it's so important to get our gut in order. This is the foundation for wellness. And if you are experiencing gas or bloating or discomfort, pain, indigestion, any of those things, then it's a sign that your body's telling you something's not right and we need to make some corrections. So listen to your body. Let's really start with your gut. Now, I do like to start with my story because I think it's helpful to understand where I'm coming from. As a young mom, I began experiencing many health challenges. These were emotional challenges, depression, and I also had a lot of physical problems as well. I was always in pain. I had breast lumps, pollen allergies. I had even arthritis at this young age, a young mom. And I went to a naturopath and he ran a lot of tests. And all of these tests really came back saying I was broken, way more so than I thought, but low blood sugar. I had colonitis, anemia, very vitamin deficient, and very toxic in a lot of chemicals that I had been taken through pharmaceuticals. And I really needed to get my gut in order. And basically, I needed to do a whole regeneration process on my system, which I did. Well, he told me what I needed to do. And there were two huge challenges that I had to really overcome and work at. The number one challenge was it was a lifestyle change to do what he was recommending me to do to create all of this negative issues that were going on, both physically and emotionally, mentally. It was a real lifestyle change for me. And I can tell you, it wasn't so easy at first. But the second thing that I really had to overcome was the cost. Now, initially, this cost me about $250 to $300 a month. Now, that sounds a little steep, doesn't it? Well, if you think 40 years ago, this was more than my house payment. And it was a real challenge coming up with this money, but I'm grateful to my husband who supported me. He knew that I was desperate for a change and I was desperate for answers. And so he supported me with this. We learned to make sacrifices elsewhere so that I could have my regeneration. And literally in 5 or 6 months, all of the issues that I was dealing with, no sleep, lack of energy, lethargy, and always being in pain, and all of the issues that I was dealing with, even the breast lumps, everything was gone. And that was really an interesting thing. I mean, if somebody would have told me that just a simple diet change or whatever would have made that big a difference, I would have laughed. And he probably did tell me that because it's really hard to go from basically down in the bottom of the pit and in 5 or 6 months just be a different person. So this is the 4-part system that changed my life, literally. Number one, we I went to a whole foods diet, nothing but whole foods. I mean, I did have healthy fats and seasonings to go along with this, but for the most part, it was really everything whole, basically no or minimal grains at all. If so, they were only whole, but it was more of my proteins and live fruits and vegetables, a lot of that. I did a lot of cleansing. That was super, super important. Water became my friend. And one of the cleanses that I did was just water and lemon for 3 days. It was really difficult. I think that was the very hardest one that I did. Supplements were life-changing. I feel like those expedited the process and actually pulled me out of that deep, dark pit in a much faster way. Without those supplements, I think it would have just taken me longer. Those are really, really important. And then number 4, I called target support. There were areas that I needed more help with enzymes, more help with pain, more help with digestion, more help with a lot of different areas that I was experiencing. And I feel like many times we go to that first, and many times it's not even in a great form. But if we would just make sure to do all 4 of these areas, that's where the life-changing happens. Here's what I learned along the way that was super, super important. Number 1 is our habits, not our hereditary, is really what's killing us. We have to really look at our habits. Nature, not synthetic pharmaceuticals, have the only ability to bring order to our bodies. The synthetics create disorder and dysfunction. If you want order, you've got to go to nature. Number 3, the root cause to almost all dysfunction, disease, and disorder is number 1, lack of nutrition or an inadequate balance of these nourishing nutrients that our body needs to function. And number 2, we have excess toxicity. And I'll go over that a little bit more, but the toxicity or the inability to cleanse properly is where our bodies become polluted. So we need the nutrition, and then we need to remove the toxicity. And number 4, I learned that I really had created all my problems, not my ancestors. And the beauty of this is that I could fix them or change them through my lifestyle choices. This was really huge to me. So I really looked at the basically 2 different types of foods, all the processed and packaged foods. They take everything that's good out of them, all the fiber, the nutrients, and they add all the chemicals into them. Whereas these whole foods are what really created the wholeness in my body. I discovered that with proactive choices, I could get well, and I did. So if you look around at so many challenges that people are facing in today's world, we might want to ask ourselves, what is the root cause to all these challenges? I feel like it's always important to go back to the root, because the roots is really what's going to tell us. And many times we just looked at the symptoms, those that are above the surface, where we really need to look at the root causes. And if we look at the root causes, we can actually begin to make some changes, because these root causes there are what are creating a lot of the symptoms that we are really experiencing in today's world, in a nutshell. So let's ask this question: what disrupts your gut microbiome? Well, the processed food does. Again, they take out the nutrients and they add the chemicals. It's not a very good exchange. Not enough diverse foods. Alcohol and tobacco, any type of addictive substances are really, really harsh on your gut. Lack of exercise, lack of sleep, too much stress, lack of prebiotics and probiotics in your diet, and antibiotics. That is a big one. We're going to kind of go through some of these, but let's talk about antibiotics first of all. First, we've got probiotics, and we've got antibiotics. So what is a biotic anyway? So the definition is of relating to or resulting from living things, especially in their ecological relations. So let's look at first antibiotics. So we know that they're used in treatment and prevention of bacterial infections. They're used to kill or inhibit growth of bacteria. Some possess the antiprotozoal attributes. We know they're not effective against viruses, but the biggest problem is they're inappropriate and overuse. And especially in children, many times they are often overprescribed. And I know this because my son, when I was going through all the challenges that I was experiencing 40 years ago, he was having some ear infections, and it was month after month after month. After 6 months of being on antibiotics, they wanted to put tubes in his ears. Basically, the antibiotics were ineffective. And after that long period of time, I decided enough was enough. And I decided that I really needed to help build his system, not keep depleting it with those antibiotics. And it was a really smart choice on my part to be able to do that and to walk away from those antibiotics that were just ruining him, and it wasn't getting him better. So now we have probiotics and prebiotics. So these boost our immune system, they strengthen and support healthy urinary tract function, improve digestion, improve healthy bowel function, promote healthy skin, and they do combat those foodborne threats. So our prebiotics are what feed the probiotics. And that's important to understand this here. Let's talk about leaky gut. What is leaky gut? Because we have a lot of gut issues in today's world. And most of the time, we don't realize that it's really a leaky gut. So what happens is when we are eating some of those foods, remember I gave you that list of things that actually creates that disruption in your gut. Well, when we eat all kinds of processed foods and the alcohol and the genetically modified foods, the antibiotics, all of these things, overly done especially, can create inflammation in the gut. And when there's a lot of inflammation, what happens is that gut lining, that mucosal membrane, actually begins to weaken and it creates perforations. And when we have those perforations, what happens is all of those undigested food particles and those microorganisms can actually leak through those perforations of that mucosal lining into your bloodstream. Now, this is very, very dangerous because undigested food should not go into your bloodstream. And this is weakening the soldiers in your army, your defense system, and it creates havoc to where your body is actually fighting it against itself. Well, when we say our body is fighting against itself, what do we call that? Autoimmunity. So when we have leaky gut, you can see here at the bottom, nutrient malabsorption, autoimmunity, food intolerances and sensitivities. The blood-brain barrier has a breach and it creates that systematic inflammation, as well as inflammatory bowel problems, thyroid problems, skin problems, mood swings, behavioral problems. Can anybody relate? There's a lot going on simply because we have these weak areas in our gut lining, and it causes these perforations that leak into our bloodstream. And so the poop that should be going on down that track is actually infiltrating into your bloodstream, and your body has no recourse than trying to fight back. So if you look at leaky gut, it is actually present in every autoimmune disease and condition. And if you look at that list, so many people are dealing with more than one of these. So it's important for us to recognize what is the cause. It all goes back to this leaky gut and that inflammation in the lining of your intestines. So we have to understand that in our gut, it requires 85% positive bacteria and 15% negative bacteria. So there should be around that type of balance in a healthy gut. So the negative definitely is there automatically, and that is because our stomach acids come in and they're trying to break down the food, but we need an 85% positive bacteria. Very few people have that in today's world unless you're really being proactive and taking care of your gut. Super, super important. So when you eat, your gut must decide, is this a friend or a foe? And when we are mobbed by an environment of toxic substances, what this does is it weakens your defenses. The soldier in your gut army are overtaken, and it creates those perforations that we call leaky gut. And you can see here that it's basically a cycle that just keeps going from one area to another, and it really does affect your whole body. So here's some signs of gut toxicity and our need to cleanse. And if you look at that list, many people do have fatigue. They fight with weight loss. They have pain in their head, muscles, hormonal imbalances, skin issues, constipation, bloating, menstrual problems, sluggish elimination, puffy eyes or bags under their eyes, mental confusion, excess mucus, allergies, food and seasonal, excess stress, and especially those food sensitivities. So these are all signs that your gut is toxic and you need to cleanse. So what can we do? Number one is to eliminate the root causes. Chemicals. Chemicals are in everything that we consume almost nowadays. They're in our food, they're in our drinks, they're in our cleaning products, they're in our pharmaceuticals, they're in foods that we microwave. The microwave just compounds the problems. They're in our cleaning products, they're in our body care, they are in the pesticides that are sprayed on many of our foods. And then just every type of bottle and container that you buy in the store has chemicals of all kinds. And the biggest problem with this is the bombardment of the chemicals, where it just really does break down your body. So we have 3 exposure pathways. Maybe you recognize these. We are exposed to toxins aromatically, internally, and topically. So we breathe in, we eat, and we touch things all day long. And this is how we are exposed to so many chemicals. And it all affects our gut. When we lack cleansing, we need to really think about these 7 channels of elimination that our body has. Now, there's two parts of this 7 channels. The first is the primary channels of elimination, and then there's the secondary channels. The primary channels basically is your gut, your liver, your colon, and your kidneys. So everything processes through the liver. The liver stores the nutrients, good as well as bad. And then it sends the liquid waste down your kidneys and the solid waste down your colon. And in the process, it works to feed our bloodstream the nutrients needed and send the rest down, right? Now, when our primary channels are overloaded, it actually kicks it back into our secondary channels. Those are our skin, our lungs, our blood, and our lymphatics. So this is important to understand because if you're breaking out in all kinds of skin conditions, really means that your primary pathways are over challenged and your secondary channels are really trying to make up the difference. Okay. So people have respiratory and lung problems. That again is a sign that your primary channels are overloaded and are not being able to keep up with the challenges. Cleansing has to be done in the right way, and we need to make sure we do it effectively. Now, number 2 is to avoid all processed and GMO foods. So processed foods, again, the good stuff is taken out, the bad stuff is added in, those chemicals. Genetically modified foods, you stop and think about it. If they mess with the genes in your foods, what do you think they're going to do to your genes? It's going to disrupt and mess with the genes in your body, right? So super important to understand why we need to eliminate these. And then our mainstream market foods. We look at all those meats and all of the preservatives, colors, the additives, and they're raised so cheaply. There's a real problem with these types of foods, but even many of our fruits and vegetables, when they're raised Main Street with our chemical farmers, they are full of genetic modifications, but they're also adding the pesticides, the fungicides, the herbicides, and even colors on the foods that we eat. And this is where it can really be harmful. So again, if we go back to our gut, all these chemicals and food additives, refined foods, genetically modified foods, pharmaceuticals create the leaky gut, which create those autoimmune conditions. And that's where the soldiers in your army are now working against you instead of for you. And that is what's creating the challenge in your gut. So number 3, eat foods that heal your gut. Simple, right? Because this is what will help reverse autoimmune dysfunctions. So first and foremost is your whole foods. Just eat more greens, just eat more whole. Stay away from those packaged, refined, out to eat foods. Eat more whole foods in their whole food form. Eat organic foods. Remember, it's hard to eat everything organically. Yes, I understand. But the more you eat organically, the more you're actually saying no to all those pesticides, genetic modifications, and food colorings, all of those things that don't need to be in your foods. So choose organic if all possible. We need more of those. And then your fermented foods, your raw sauerkraut, even your kefir. These types of foods actually are high in probiotics and really add some good, healthy intestinal flora to your gut and is so beneficial. So Jordan Rubin says, pay the farmer now or the pharmacy later. Additionally, grow a garden, connect with the earth. Just get your hands in the soil. You know, most people today are so disconnected from the earth and the soil, and it's really too bad because this is where we can really build our immune system. So find ways to get your hands in the soil, connect with the dirt, go barefoot, and not barefoot in the park where there's sprayed chemicals. Really get out in the dirt and make sure that you're connecting straight with the dirt. The dirt is not your enemy. It is your friend. Wholesome foods are foundational to wellness, energy, and a healthy weight. So just don't let your taste buds make all the decisions. Allow your brain, your bones, your muscles, everything to make that decision too. Quality matters. And if you really think about what your body wants, not what your taste buds want, it really does make a difference. Number 4 is to do a detox and a cleanse. This is a must. And I've shared this detox with many people, and it's super, super effective. I share this with you because over the last 40 years, I have never found anything that worked as well as what my nature path worked with me on. And this is a whole lot cheaper than he suggested all those many years ago. So it's more effective, it works well, and all of these products come from doTERRA International. And I'm happy to introduce these to you because I know they work, and they work so synergistically. And if you start with this 30-day gut detox, you will see amazing results. So let me go through these one by one and share with you what their benefits and uses are. So first are the supplements. This is a 3-set supplement pack called the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Now you can see the Alpha CRS is your antioxidants, your Mycoplex VMZ is your vitamins and minerals. These are whole food sources. And then your Z omegas are your omega-3s plus 9 essential oils that help to take these nutrients to a cellular level. Now, on the left, you can see that the yellow is basically a typical diet here in the US. And then adding the doTERRA Lifelong Vitality to it, you can see how it actually increases those numbers. And we want it kind of in that sweet spot where that light is. Not too much, not too little. We want it kind of right in the center. And it's going to vary depending on what you're eating during the day and what particular foods that you eat. But on an average scale, it's really getting to that sweet spot. The interesting thing, as I have worked in doTERRA for over 10 years now, I have seen that we can do oils for a lot of different areas, but it's less to just stick with our lifelong vitality because really our bodies lack nutrition. And if we give them this fundamental balanced supplement pack, it makes all the difference in the world, and really incredible in how it can really feed your cells and help them to start working in a normal way. And there's many, many wonderful health benefits from that. Not only you just get the optimal nutrition, but look at all of these array of benefits, the antioxidants, energy, DNA protection, bone health, immune, stress, cardiovascular support, brain nervous system, healthy skin and nails, eye health, lung health, digestive health, benefits for the liver. I mean, it's all there. There's so many wonderful benefits to this set of supplements. Now let's talk about Terrazyme, the next one on the list. This is super important. Most people aren't getting enough enzymes in the foods that they're eating. And this is super important for a healthy digestion. Now, if you look at this sewer pipe that's right there, you can see that it's full of crud. Did you know that many of our intestines look much like that? So what the Terrazyme does is, first of all, it supplies you with a great blend of active whole enzymes, and it helps to not only break down what is already in your digestive tract, but it also helps to break down the foods that you are eating. So it really can help improve your digestion greatly. Your Xander Complex is actually an herbal blend of psyllium husks, burdock root, dandelion root, and many more herbals that really help to cleanse your filtration system. And we call it the 5-organ cleanse because it really helps to filter your liver, your colon, your kidneys, your skin, and your lungs. So that really helps to support these 5 organs, but also really help to cleanse and filter out the toxins. Then we have the Xander Essential Oil Blend. And we can get this blend either in a 15 ml bottle, or we can get it in our soft gels that are easy to take. So you can see it's a blend of tangerine, juniper berry, cilantro, geranium, and rosemary, all very, very good, again, for cleansing those 5 organs. Now, this is not the same as the herbal blend at all. It's different ingredients entirely, but it does a lot of the same things. It's great for cleansing your filtration system, but it also helps to nourish and provide that support for those 5 areas that you need strength, support, and detoxification happening. It also contains powerful antioxidants, which are really, really good. Now, the GX Assist is basically a 10-day cleanse out of the 30-day cleanse. And we see this much like an antibiotic does. It goes in and it purges that unhealthy gut bacteria as well as the candida. The number one thing that I hear from people after they take the GX Assist is that they have no more sugar cravings. Now, to me, that's huge. Really huge, because it tells me that you have candida, which is why you're having those sugar cravings. And once we take the GX Assist, people don't experience those sugar cravings and those feelings of addictions. So very, very good for purging your gut of unhealthy pathogens, microbes, and candida is really, really helpful. And you can see what's in this blend there on the left. And then after that 10-day cleanse or routine, we restore with our PB Assist, which is your probiotic. Yes. The interesting thing about this very, very unique capsule is that it's 2 capsules in one. First of all, the outer capsule has your prebiotic. And remember, your prebiotic feeds your gut so that it can actually increase in the probiotic. And then the inner capsule is full of good, healthy probiotics that make it all the way down to your small intestines where you want it to get to. This is super, super important. Like I said, this is the delivery system on this is just phenomenal and is very, very helpful for supplying you with the prebiotic as well as the probiotic. That really does create such wonderful benefits. And last but not least is our certified pure tested grade essential oils. Now, any essential oil that doTERRA carries that's good for internal use will have a supplement fact label on it. This is super important because you want to know that it's safe for internal use. Our essential oils absorb very quickly. They're very good for promoting proper cell defense, healthy circulation. They enhance your mood, support your body's natural processes, and they accelerate the cleansing process. This is so important and why we especially recommend lemon essential oil for cleansing your gut. And the way we do this typically is add it to your water. Now, if you look at that lemon, most of the time when we take lemon, we're taking it from the juice. But the lemon essential oil comes from the rind. And you will notice a lot of recipes out there nowadays that talk about the lemon rind as well as the grapefruit rind or maybe even the orange rind. So powerful in benefits that will really help you in detox and boosting your immunity and helping get on top of some of those threats that we encounter. So we need to be drinking at least 1/2 to 3/4 of your body's weight in ounces of water daily, which means if you weigh 150 pounds, you need at least 75 to 90 or 100 ounces of water a day. And most people are not even getting near that. So adding our lemon or grapefruit essential oil or any type of our citrus essential oils are really, really helpful we're pulling out those petrochemicals, but especially lemon essential oil is super effective in doing that and helping pull those toxins out of your body. 10 to 25 drops a day is very, very helpful and beneficial. So if you look at that 30-day gut detox and renew, I have found that the best results that I've seen with people is to repeat it 3 times and do it for 90 days. Because what this does, when you do this for 90 days, it actually resets your gut. And isn't that what you want? You don't want to just like going on a diet for 30 days and then going back off of it and all the weight comes back on. What you want to do is really reset your gut. And this is why it's super important to be on this for 90 days. It's a lifestyle change basically when you do that. And that's where it really, really makes a huge difference. So the plan that works for me actually will work for you. Just with doing these 4 areas, really looking at your diet and making a diet change and really looking at this as a long-term lifestyle change is huge. Doing the cleanses and then nourishing your body with those supplements as well as that target support, those additional oils and herbs that will actually help support your body in those areas that you need extra support. To get the results like me, you will have 2 challenges to overcome, just like I did. Number 1 is that lifestyle change. Adopting a different set of eating habits and lifestyle habits is a little challenging at times, I'll be honest, but that's what's going to make the difference. And you can do it. If I did it, I know you can. Well, the second thing is the cost. Investing in your health at $250 to $300 a monthly for 90 days, even 5 to 6 months, will really create that full regeneration that I know that you want. We can't just do things for short term and expect long-term results. We really need to think long-term in doing it. Doesn't mean it's going to be $250 and $300 a month for the rest of your life. It just means let's get your gut in order and let's really make the difference. So here's how to move forward with this. Number 1 is make the decision to be all in for 90 days. Just decide, healthy is my lifestyle. I'm going to do this for at least 90 days. Studies show that people who make a change for 90 days are able to make it a permanent lifestyle change. And you won't go back. I know for myself, specifically, that's where I was. Once I got through that 90-day period, it was like, I can do this. I can do this. And I was off to a new start with my life. It was amazing. And guess what? 40 years later, I still have vibrant health. I'm not on any pharmaceuticals at all. Never have been. And I've stuck to eating healthy in this 4-part regimen that really changed me initially and has changed me over these past 40 years. Number 2 is really assess the cost of your monthly expenses. To me, this is really super important because as I've worked with people with the personal wellness assessments, for instance, I worked with a guy who was in his mid-30s. He was already on high blood pressure medication. He wanted to get off of them. So I went through the whole wellness assessment and I came back to him and we discussed some of the things. And when we got to the cost, he freaked out, between $250 to $300. And I suggested we do this for not just this month, but for at least 3 months. He freaked out. He just says, I can't do this. I've got a young family and we're just barely getting by. And so I went back to his wellness assessment and they said, one of the things you said on your wellness assessment is you don't drink water, but you are just drinking nothing but sodas all day, which was really creating his problem. And I said, how much do you think you're spending every day on sodas? And he said, well, sometimes 10, maybe $15 a day. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you know what? A 30-day period, you're spending $300 or more monthly. That was a real eye-opener to him. He was spending $300 a month on his problem, Now we needed to change that, and spent that $300 on a solution. This is what will make a difference if you can look at what your monthly expenses are. And as I work with a lot of young families, they will tell me about the same thing. They will say, we don't have this extra money. And it's like, it's not extra money. If you look at what you're doing in your lifestyle, people are eating out 3 or 4 times a week, and times 4 weeks, that can be $400+. And then they're going to the convenience store, getting all these extras for another couple of $100. They're spending $600 or more monthly. So this is all about just considering the money that you're already spending to be spent differently. That's what I had to do initially. I didn't have another $300, but I could take the money that I was spending on things I didn't need to and put it where I should have. I have found, yes, people in today's world really, we do have budgets. I recognize that for sure. But I also see that many times people are spending money in the wrong way, and they're actually feeding the problem instead of feeding the solution. Why not let's put our money where we can feed the solution, not the problem? Number 3 is to take the online wellness assessment, and I have the link below. So this is super important because it helps you and it helps me find these root causes, the triggers, and then we create a plan with your goals in mind. So take a screenshot of this. I'll show this link 2 or 3 more times if you don't get it right here, but it's important for you to go there and to get this, go to this link and to take this online wellness assessment. And number 4 is to make that choice to go on this 30-day gut detox and get the items you need, as well as make it a lifestyle change, really working at your diet and to repair your gut with good, healthy foods and cleansing and renew program. If you are willing to do this and to commit for being all in for 90 days, you will be able to receive 4 incredible bonuses just for deciding to take action. So let me share with you these bonuses. First of all is 8 personal Zoom or check-in calls. Now, I do this weekly for the first month, and then for the next 3 months, I do it every other week. So this is super important, and I want you to know that my time is very valuable. This is one of my greatest assets that I have. If you are committed, I am committed to your success as well. And I am willing to do this if you are willing to really be committed to the process. Number 2 is my ebook. I would have given anything to have had this ebook when I started 40 years ago. I had nothing. My naturopath just sent me on my way and said, good luck, start with your whole foods and eat it. I had nothing as a guide. 40 years ago, there were not good cookbooks. There was nothing out there. So this really gives you a 14-day meal plan, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and ideas galore, as well as a shopping list. So this is something that I really encourage you to take advantage of, because it will really ease your burden of being able to know what to create for good meals. And number 3, access to my cooking video library. I have tons of videos that can really be really helpful for you. And these are foods that are tasty, they're good for you, they're good for your gut, they're good for really helping to supply your gut with those healthy nutrients and to help in eliminating that inflammation that is in your gut. So an excellent value for you. And number 4, if you take action tonight and take the complete online wellness assessment, then schedule that connection call with me and commit to that 90-day program, I am willing to send you a free bottle of Terrazyme. Now, this is a $34 value. This is wholesale, more retail. It's $45 retail. But this actually, again, as I mentioned before, it helps to break down that matter in your gut, and it helps to support a healthy digestion. So even if you're purchasing this in your program, you will want an extra bottle, because this is super important for being able to get your gut in order. And it all goes back to your gut and having a healthy digestion. So super, super important. Again, there's that link below that you can go to be able to take that wellness assessment and schedule that call. And then we will talk, and I will help you on your road so that you can complete this 90-day program and really get your gut in order. So you get these 4 huge bonuses by committing to the 90-day program: those 8 personal calls, your 14-day meal plan and shopping list. You get access to my cooking video library and that free Terrazyme. Basically, it's a total of over $1,300, and it's yours just for getting started tonight. So again, there's that link. Make sure that you have that down and you're able to go there. Why else start tonight? Because a healthy gut is a healthy you. Getting your gut in order means long-term benefits. And isn't that what you want? I can't tell you how important it is to get your gut in order, and how much better you'll feel, not only emotionally, but mentally, spiritually, and especially physically. Super, super important. And it's definitely worth it. So this is where to start. Just go to that link. And if you need help in any way, or you have questions, there is my email address, ask@erleentilton.com. Make sure you go there. And I am glad to answer your questions and glad to help you in this so that you can definitely be able to get started in the right way, get started with this wellness assessment so that you're on your way to a healthy gut. Thank you so much for joining me. I really look forward to connecting with you soon.